The Supreme Court has found that, yes, Donald Trump does have the authority to end temporary protected status, which, of course, paves the way for mass deportations. But, of course, CNN is very unhappy about all of this. And what we're going to see is Caroline Sunshine causing a complete and total meltdown over here on the panel. But before we begin, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe on this video so you can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
Tonight, the White House is celebrating a pair of major Supreme Court victories that expand the president's power on immigration, and it clears the way for him to continue his crackdown. The first decision allows the Trump administration to end temporary protected status for foreign nationals from countries like Haiti or Syria. Here's what Mike DeWine, the governor of Ohio, said. He says, the policy to remove these individuals from this country is a mistake. This also means that while these Haitians were working and contributing to our country, our community and economy yesterday, today it is now illegal to employ them.
The court's decision is actually really good for Haiti as a country, as a sovereign nation, because the first word in TPS is temporary. It's always supposed to be temporary. And specifically in regards to the Haitians who have come here, the first batch came, I think, in 2010 after the earthquake in Haiti. It's been 16 years since the earthquake. So that's not temporary. And at what point, by American standards, are we going to decide that Haiti is livable again? When's that day coming? Is that coming in 6 months? Is that coming in a year? Probably not anytime soon. And one thing that doesn't get talked about is some of these TPS recipients, not all but some, have been doctors, lawyers, engineers, teachers who left Haiti. How is Haiti as a nation supposed to rebuild itself when we've brain drained a lot of their talent and planted them in Springfield, Ohio, where that's not fair to the residents of Springfield, Ohio, either. And as a nation, we are legally obligated to our own citizens before we're obligated to anybody else. Springfield, Ohio, notice how the migrants are never brought to Nantucket. They're never brought to Beverly Hills. They're never brought to Martha's Vineyard. They're never going to go compete with hedge fund bros who inherited the job from their dad. They're always going to be brought to middle America, places like Springfield, Ohio, where they're going to have to compete with Americans for wages, depreciate those wages. I'm sure, does anybody at this table, have you heard the name Aiden Clark? An 11-year-old boy? No? You guys don't know his name?
Here we go.
11-year-old boy killed by a Haitian immigrant under TPS with no American driver's license who rammed his car into a bus, killed 11-year-old Aiden, and injured 20 school children. Who is this good for? Not the Haitians, not the American people.
I love how they cherry pick isolated cases and forget the fact that people who are immigrants actually commit fewer crimes than people who are residents in this country. But getting back to the point of this discussion about Haiti, first of all, I'm so glad that you're concerned about Haiti right now.
I am. It's a sovereign nation.
And the alleged brain drain. But the U.S. State Department says, would you let me speak? Because I let you speak. The U.S. State Department says that it's actually not safe for Americans to travel to Haiti right now. So you want to dump these people into a country where even our own State Department, the Trump administration, says it's not safe. But the larger problem is that this is a country that is now governed by a racist foreign policy and a racist immigration policy. At the same time, Stephen Miller is out here claiming that we don't allow anybody into this country for asylum anymore. The doors are closed. We're allowing white South Africans to come to this country. Those are the only people who can come to this country right now, white South Africans. But 350,000 Haitian Americans who are black can't stay here, even though they have been here, many of them for many years. They can't stay here. They're tax-paying people. They are law-abiding people. There are people who actually do jobs and create jobs. There are actually people who are doing jobs that some Americans don't want to do.
No, they want the jobs. They just don't want to do it for that wage.
Cleaning toilets,
they don't want to do it for that wage.
In a hotel.
And big business, the healthcare industry loves to keep them here. It's modern slave labor.
Caroline, you're not the only person at the table.
Well, first of all, I just want to note that, to your point, the State Department has a level 4 warning for Haiti, Syria, and Somalia. It says, do not travel for U.S. citizens. And if you do travel, prepare a will. So I think that tells you kind of everything you need to know about how they feel the situation is. But on the issue of racism, that came up in the court decision. And Samuel Alito, in the majority opinion, said none of the cited statements by either the president or the secretary were overtly racist. In substance, all express policy views that could rest on race-neutral justifications. Elena Kagan, she hit back and said, the evidence they have offered includes statements by the president so repellent and racially infected that the majority declines to put them in print. These statements fairly shout, in their racial undertones and overtones alike, that race entered into the president's resolve to remove Haitians from this country.
Can I just mention some of those comments?
When he called Haitians, or Haiti, a shithole country,
Thank you.
that I mean, I think that's what a lot of people, what's one of the many statements that make a lot of people believe that there is racial animus at play here.
Well, I mean, you're making it about race. Keith's making it about race. That was precisely the argument that the Supreme Court said was not the proper one. Yes, the legislation for TPS was a bipartisan bill from 40 years ago, but it gave the Secretary of Homeland Security extreme policy oversight in determining who gets TPS or who loses it. In this case, we've litigated this. We had an election, right? President Trump, you pointed out he said some pretty mean things. We litigated this debate during the election, and the American people chose to have a more restrictive anti-immigration policy. That's just the fact. The American public put Donald Trump in place. He is now implementing policies that you may not agree with, but the American people elected. And it's not just Haiti. So we keep focusing on this racial thing. It's about all 13 countries that temporary protective status have recently come up for renewal that he has pushed to withdraw or deny.
The reason why we focus on Haiti, though, is because Haiti is the issue that involves race most directly. It's an equal protection issue under the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. He actually said these countries, he said Haiti is a shithole country. He said they're poisoning the blood of this country.
I'm siding with the Supreme Court decided. The Supreme Court decided that your argument was moot.
And the Supreme Court was wrong.
That the TPS statute gave the Secretary of Homeland Security the authority to do this.
It is the embodiment of the American dream. I mean, it's literally engraved on the Statue of Liberty. Give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. Like, this is a place where you can come if you are not safe where you live.
Was the Haitian migrant who killed 11-year-old Aiden Clark making America better with that action?
That is
conflating.
You're going to kick out 350,000 people because of one case.
Is that making America better?
You're going to kick out 350,000 people because of one stereotype. What about all the white people who commit crimes in this country? You're going to kick them out of this country? You're going to kick them out of this country too?
Matters. But you haven't answered the question.
Your comment is just as racist as Donald Trump's comment. I didn't focus on one Haitian person and use that as a justification for a racist foreign policy is disgusting. It's abhorrent.
It's disgusting that an 11-year-old was killed by a Haitian migrant who rammed his car into a bus. That is disgusting.
A shithole country?
He was referencing the government,
exactly
which treats their people poorly.
It's made of racism.
All right, we got to just leave it there.
Oh my goodness, let me start with this, all right? Here you have the leftists on the panel, and they're very upset that at one point in time, Donald Trump called Haiti a crap hole country. Well, at the same time, they're out there saying, please, don't send the Haitians back to their crap hole country. Do they not see how they are contradicting themselves on this issue? But of course, they wouldn't be leftists if they didn't, okay? But let me just basically explain what's really going on here, okay? Donald Trump has been trying to deport violent, criminal, illegal aliens, and of course anybody else he comes across. But the problem is there's all kinds of roadblocks in his way, particularly from the left. And one of those roadblocks, of course, has been the temporary protected status. You can't deport that violent criminal because he's got TPS. So do I think that Donald Trump is going to actually deport every single Haitian and Syrian in this country right now? No, I don't. If he did, I'd be perfectly fine with that. However, what he really wants to do is, the very least, get rid of the bad elements, because the Democrats, as we've already seen, will fight tooth and nail to keep even the most violent criminal offenders in this country. And that basically is the point that Caroline Sunshine is trying to make. All right. The Haitian immigrant who killed Aiden Clark, is that someone who should stay? Are they enriching our community? And of course, more recently, you may remember that we had this story where a Haitian immigrant killed an Indian woman with a hammer in Florida. Should he be allowed to stay in this country, or can we deport him? Is he so culturally enriching to our communities that he should be allowed to remain on TPS? All right. But of course, the big point that is brought up by Caroline is the fact that, yes, the T in TPS stands for temporary. It was never meant to last forever. People were supposed to come here until it was safe to go back. But the problem is, it's been 16 years and not much has really changed over there. So are we supposed to house these people forever? No, we're not, because of course there's a renewal process, and Donald Trump has chosen not to renew the TPS for these countries. But of course, you have Keith Boykin completely melting down. MAGA is racist. Donald Trump is racist. Everything is racist that I don't agree with. Okay. And of course, he says that, oh, all the crime statistics show that illegal immigrants actually commit crimes at much lower rates than American citizens. And this, of course, is a complete and total fabrication. And if you look over here, in 2025, we have Congress actually releasing this study, and they were following what's called the State Criminal Alien Assistance Program, SCAP for short. Okay, and what this program does is that it reimburses states for actually incarcerating convicted illegal immigrants. All right. So when you follow the money trail, that's when you actually can't fudge the numbers. That's when you can't actually hide the fact that a criminal is an illegal alien as well, because you have many places that don't track those stats at all. I'm looking at you, California. And that, of course, means that the left is allowed to lie about the rates of crime committed by illegal aliens. And over here, you can see that, yes, we have a summary of findings. SCAP data indicates that illegal aliens are typically at least 3 times as likely to be incarcerated than citizens and lawfully present aliens. And the report also goes on to say that, yes, since SCAP program only includes those illegal aliens who have at some point been convicted of a crime, the only reasonable conclusion is that illegal aliens must commit crimes at a higher rate than citizens or lawfully present aliens in order to be incarcerated at such high rates. All right, so here it is, black and white, right on the screen from just 1 year ago. All the left statements about how illegal aliens are actually better citizens than our own is completely false. So yes, all the leftists on the panel over here at CNN can get as mad as they want, can feel as butthurt as they want. But guess what? The rule of law is still the rule of law. And Donald Trump has been acting, of course, within his purview as president to decline the continuation of TPS in these instances. But that's not going to stop the leftists from being very upset about this whole thing, and of course making the same tired claims they've always made, that Donald Trump and MAGA and anybody who actually wants to deport criminal illegal aliens is racist. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me.